Sometimes someone compliments you, and instead of feeling good, something tightens inside your chest. You smile, you say thank you, but a second later a quiet thought appears. If they really knew me, they wouldn't think that. So you downplay it, deflect it, make a joke. And strangely, admiration feels more uncomfortable than criticism. Why? Why does being liked sometimes make you feel like a fraud? And why does your brain almost want to correct people's good opinions of you? The answer has less to do with confidence and more to do with identity. You probably know this feeling in small, ordinary moments. Someone praises your work, and your first instinct is to explain why it wasn't that impressive. Honestly, it was just luck. It wasn't that hard. I kind of rushed it. Or someone describes you in a positive way. You're really disciplined. You're so creative. You're good with people. And immediately, your brain starts listing counter evidence. No, I'm not. They don't see the mess behind the scenes. It can happen socially, too. People laugh at something you said. They enjoy being around you. But part of you feels like you're performing a role, like you accidentally got cast as a character, and sooner or later, someone will realize you're not supposed to be there. This isn't just insecurity. It quietly changes how you behave. You hold back effort. You minimize achievements. You hide parts of yourself. Because being liked creates a strange pressure. Now you have something to live up to. And deep down, you're not sure you are that person. So the mind tries to reduce the tension, often by lowering how people see you, which sounds irrational, but psychologically it makes sense, because your brain cares less about being impressive and more about being consistent. Feeling fake when people like you doesn't mean you're dishonest. It usually means your identity was built in very different conditions. Your brain learned who you were during moments of stress, criticism, comparison, or survival. Maybe you became the quiet one, the responsible one, the struggling one, the overlooked one. Whatever the role was, your mind built a stable picture around it. And stability matters to the brain a lot, because identity is basically a prediction system. It tells your brain, this is who I am. This is what to expect from myself. This is how people see me. So when reality suddenly contradicts that image, your mind experiences friction, not because something is wrong, but because the map and the territory don't match anymore. And the brain dislikes mismatched maps. There's a concept in psychology called self-verification. It means people prefer feedback that confirms what they already believe about themselves, even if those beliefs are negative, because confirmation feels stable. Your brain is constantly trying to reduce uncertainty. So if your internal identity quietly says, I'm average, I'm awkward, I'm not that impressive, and someone says the opposite, your nervous system treats it almost like an error signal, not a compliment, an inconsistency. Another process explains this even more clearly: cognitive dissonance. This is the tension that appears when two beliefs collide. One belief says, this is who I am. Another belief says, this is how people see me. If those don't match, the brain wants resolution. And surprisingly, the easiest way to fix that tension is not upgrading your identity, it's lowering the compliment. That's why people say things like, it wasn't a big deal, I just got lucky, anyone could have done it. It restores internal order. A helpful way to think about identity is to imagine a thermostat, not a mirror. A mirror reflects reality. A thermostat regulates it. If the room suddenly becomes warmer than the set temperature, the system cools things down. If praise pushes your perceived value above your internal setting, your mind quietly lowers it again, not consciously, but automatically. Which means something interesting is happening. You're protecting the older version of yourself, even when life is presenting evidence of a new one. One small shift begins with noticing how you react to praise. When someone compliments you, there is usually a reflex to correct them. Pause instead. Just say, "Thank you." It sounds simple, but psychologically it matters. Every time you argue with positive feedback, your brain logs it as proof that the old identity is correct. But when you allow the compliment to exist without fighting it, you introduce new evidence. Over time, the brain updates its internal model. Another shift is separating actions from identity. Many people feel fake because they think praise defines who they are, but behavior is not identity, it's information. Instead of thinking, "They think I'm talented," try noticing, "That action worked." This reduces pressure on the self. The brain processes feedback better when it's attached to behavior instead of your entire personality. For example, instead of "I'm not actually disciplined," you notice, "Today I acted with discipline." That small change prevents the brain from becoming defensive. Your mind also trusts patterns more than single moments. One compliment might feel wrong, but repeated experiences slowly reshape identity networks. So rather than trying to force confidence, focus on collecting small confirmations, finishing a task, sharing an idea, showing up again tomorrow. Each moment becomes a piece of evidence. Over time, those pieces start to update the story you carry about yourself. Another useful observation is the role you might be protecting. Many people unconsciously maintain a familiar identity, the humble one, the quiet one, the one who struggles, the one who never takes credit. Roles are socially safe. If expectations stay low, the risk of failure stays low too. But those same roles quietly limit who you can become. Sometimes asking yourself a simple question is enough. What version of me am I protecting right now? That moment of awareness interrupts the automatic pattern. And interestingly, people rarely need perfection to like someone. Psychology shows the opposite. When a person seems capable but still human, trust increases. So instead of hiding every flaw, allow small imperfections to exist. You might say, "I actually struggled with that part. I wasn't sure it would work." Moments like this teach your brain something important. Being liked does not require being flawless. And when that pressure fades, the feeling of being fake often fades too. Your mind isn't trying to sabotage you, it's trying to stay consistent. Identity is less like a fixed label and more like a story your brain keeps editing. New experiences are like new sentences arriving, but the editor checks them against earlier chapters. If something feels too different, it gets rejected at first. But if enough new pages appear, eventually the story changes. So the next time someone appreciates you and that strange discomfort appears, notice it. Your brain isn't detecting a lie, it's protecting an older version of you. An older version built from earlier rooms, earlier conversations, earlier expectations. But you're not living inside those moments anymore. And identity, despite how solid it feels, is surprisingly flexible. Not because you force it to change, but because reality keeps presenting new evidence, little by little, conversation by conversation, until one day someone says something kind about you, and instead of feeling like a fraud, it simply feels normal. And that quiet shift is how people slowly grow into themselves.